Hello dear students, greetings of the day. In today's session, we are going to perform laboratory experiment of concrete technology. So let's start today's session. Experiment number 8, impact value of aggregate. Aim to determine the impact value of aggregate of the given sample. Apparatus and materials required: impact test machine, tamping rod, weighing balance, Owen, 12.5 mm ISU, 10 mm ISU and 2.36 mm ISU, and aggregate sample. Theory: the aggregate impact value gives a relative measure of the resistance of an aggregate to sudden shock or impact, which in some aggregate differs from its resistance to a shock compressive load. With respect to concrete aggregates, toughness is usually considered the resistance of the material to failure by impact. Several attempts to develop a method of test for aggregates impact value have been made. The most successful is the one in which a sample of standard aggregate kept in a mold is subjected to 15 blows of a metal hammer of weight 14 kg, falling from the height of 38 cm. The quantity of finer material resulting from ponding will indicate the toughness of the sample of aggregate. The ratio of the weight of the fines formed to the weight of the total sample taken is expressed as a percentage. This is known as the aggregate impact value. As per IS 283/1970 specify that aggregate impact value shall not exceed 45% by weight for aggregate used for concrete other than the wearing surface and 30% by weight for concrete for wearing surface such as runways, roads and pavements. The recommended impact value of aggregate is given below in the table. So in this, the aggregate classification and the respective impact value is given. So first classification, that is exceptionally strong. If the impact value less than 10%, that aggregate may be classified as a exceptionally strong. If the impact value between 10 to 20%, the aggregate will be strong. If the impact value between 20 to 30, the aggregate classification is satisfactorily. If the impact value greater than 30%, the classification of that aggregate will be weak. So this is the impact value apparatus, or you can say impact value machine. So in this is the cylindrical curve in which we have to place the aggregate. These are the sliding bars, vertical bars. This is the hammer having weight 40 kg. These are the handles. Procedure: the test sample shall consist of aggregate, the whole of which passes a 12.5 mm ISU and is retained on 10 mm ISU. The aggregate comprising the test sample shall be dried in an oven for a period of 4 hours at a temperature of 100 to 110 degrees Celsius and cooled. The measure shall be filled about one third full with the aggregate and tamped with 25 strokes by tamping rod. The net weight of aggregate in the measure shall be determined to the nearest gram as a weight W1. The impact machine shall rest without wedging or packing upon the level plate, block or floor so that it is rigid and the hammer guide columns are vertical. The hammer shall be raised until its lower face is 380 mm above the upper surface of the aggregate in the curve and allowed to fall freely onto the aggregate. The test sample shall be subjected to a total load of 15 such blows, each being delivered at an interval of not less than 1 second. The crushed aggregate shall then be removed from the curve and the whole of it sieved on the 2.36 mm IS sieve until no further significant amount passes in 1 minute. The fraction passing the sieve shall be weighed to an accuracy of 0.1 gram and consider as a weight W2. The fraction retained on the sieve shall also be weighted W3, and if the total weight, that is W3 plus W1, is less than the initial weight, that is W1, by more than 1 gram, the result shall be discarded and a fresh test made. Observation table. In observation table, there are various columns such as serial number, description or particulars, and number of trials. So in serial number 1, so total weight of aggregate filling the cylindrical cup as a W1. So for trial first, the total weight of aggregate, that is 670 gram. Weight of aggregate passing through 2.36 mm sieve, that is W2 gram. For first trial it will be 40 gram, and aggregate impact value, that is W2 divided by W1 into 100, will get 5.97%. So for the second trial, the aggregate impact value will get 6.61, and for third trial it will be 9.85. So if we take the average of these three, we'll get average impact value, that is 7.48%. Sample calculation. So aggregate impact value is equal to W2 divided by W1 into 100. So W2 is the weight of aggregate passing 2.32 mm ISU, and W1 is the total weight of aggregate in the cylindrical cup. So that is 40 divided by 670 into 100. So which gives the 5.97. Result: the aggregate impact value of a given sample of coarse aggregate is 7.48%. The aggregate impact value should not be more than 45% for aggregate used for concrete other than for varying surfaces, and 30% for concrete used for varying surfaces such as runways, roads and airfields pavement.